What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1, and we continue our 2025 predictions here with the Arizona State Sun Devils, team that surprised everyone last year, made it to the Big 12, won the Big 12 championship, made it to the college football playoff. Kenny Dillingham, I think, is a great coach. I think he is going to be one of the next, top guys in college football. I really feel that way with what he's been able to do there so quickly. I think they're going to be really good again this year. I think they're going to be the team to beat, I would say, in the Big 12. Do they have the best roster? I think that might go to Texas Tech. But with all those new transfers at Texas Tech, I don't know that they're going to be the best team. Maybe they are. We'll see. But I think Arizona State definitely the team to beat. Before we get into the predictions and just my thoughts on this team, let's look back at the last 3 years. So this is how I predicted it to go for Arizona State. 22 and 23, both years I had them at 4-8. They went 3-9. It's rare for me to go all the way down to 3-9. I hate being that negative. You'll see it sometimes, but 4-8 is usually about as low as it gets for me when I do these predictions. Last year I had them at 6-6, which is way off from 10-2. So you'd think, man, that's a horrible prediction. But I was higher on this team than most people, and I even talked about them last year as potentially being a surprise team in the Big 12. Not saying I really thought they had a chance to get to or win the Big 12. But I thought they had a chance to be like an 8-4 type team. I didn't have the guts to predict that. Again, I had them at 6-6, but I believe the over/under was like 4.5 for them. So I was a game and a half over that. Again, I would have. I'd like to sit here and say that I saw the 10-2 coming. I saw them winning the Big 12 championship. I wish I had predicted them to do 9-3 or something like that at least. But at least I did go 6-6. So like I said, higher than most people, but still not high enough. This team was definitely a surprise team last year. Let's look at the prediction. Let's look at the schedule for this year, and we'll get into the predictions. Again, 10-2 regular season last year. Before we go game by game, just my thoughts on this team. So Sam Leavitt coming back at quarterback. I didn't see that coming last year. I did not think that he was going to be as good as he was. If I knew that with everything else they had, maybe I would have picked them to win a couple more games. But yeah, he definitely surprised me. I know they lose Cam Scatterbo at running back, but I think they're going to be okay there. They got a couple of options. Wide receivers, Jordan Tyson going to be the guy. I looked it up. He is expected to be back for week 1, so should be good to go. If he can get back to what he was last year. I mean, we're talking about potentially, I don't know if I'd say the best wide receiver in all of college football, because you do have Jeremiah Smith at Ohio State, but maybe the second best wide receiver, or at least top 5. This kid's really, really good. Now, can they get some guys to step up around him? That'll be the thing to watch, because if they can get some other players at wide receiver to step up, then all of a sudden this offense becomes very tough to stop. I think the offensive line is more average. I don't think they're going to be great. I don't think they're going to be bad. But I think they're going to be kind of average. You look at the defense, though. That's where I'm actually most excited about this team if I'm an Arizona State fan. This team is loaded on defense with what they have coming back. Defensive line will be strong. Linebackers will be strong. Secondary, probably the best secondary in the Big 12. They're going to be very good on the back end. It's going to be tough to throw the football against this team. And so, yeah, this will be a very good team. But it's a little bit of a tricky schedule. You've got Mississippi State on the road, which could be a little bit tricky. You've got Baylor on the road. Utah's a tough place to play. Texas Tech, we talked about how talented they are. Iowa State's on the road. Colorado's on the road. So it is a little bit of a tricky schedule here, but still, I do think this is the team to beat. And let's get into the predictions here, starting with an easy win over Northern Arizona. Obviously, they should roll in that one. Then you've got Mississippi State September 6th. I think people are dismissing this game, expecting an easy win for Arizona State. I don't think that's the case. Not because I don't think Arizona State's going to be really good. I just think Mississippi State is going to be better than people think. And that's a tough place to play. The Cowbells will be out. I think that could be a very tough game for Arizona State. In fact, I would not be shocked if they went in there and got upset. I think that could be a huge upset in college football this season. But I think the defense for Arizona State, just talked about it a second ago, how good they're going to be. I think that's going to be the difference in this game. Defense travels. Defense usually plays pretty well on the road. So I think Mississippi State definitely puts a scare in Arizona State in this one. I think it's a very close game. But I think Sam Leavitt, the veteran quarterback, and this defense for Arizona State, they come through and find a way to get it done on the road. But I do think that'll be a tough one. I think they beat Texas State after that. And then you've got Baylor September 20th, another tricky road game here. Baylor's going to be a good football team. I think if you have a chance to beat Arizona State, what you need is a good defensive line, a really good defensive line. Baylor will be okay there, but I don't know if that's going to be a huge strength for them. They've got really good wide receivers. You know, they're pass catchers. They have weapons out there, so that could be a challenge. But what I said a second ago, Arizona State might have the best secondary in all of the Big Ten, and all the Big 12. Could be one of the top secondaries in the country. So I think they're up for the challenge. I think matchup-wise, this one does favor Arizona State. I think they get the win, a huge road win, and they get to 4-0. Then they've got a Friday night game at home against TCU. Quick turnaround, but the good news is this game will be at home. But I do think it could be a challenge. TCU is going to be pretty solid this year. Again, this one will not be an easy win, but I think playing at home Friday night, the energy of the crowd, I think Arizona State's a little bit better team than TCU, but it's enough to, it's close enough to where I think this game will be close. But at the end of the day, I do think Arizona State gets a win. So that gets them to 5-0. Then they get their first bye week. Really good spot for this bye week before having to play at Utah. Of course, a tough place to play. I'm not all that high on Utah this year. I don't think they're going to be great. They'll be okay. But I think the defense, again, defense will travel. They'll play well on the road. Sam Levitt, I think he'll play well in this game as well. And I just think Arizona State's the better team. And I think they're good enough to overcome this road challenge. And I think they win again. So I've got them at 6-0 heading into a huge game against Texas Tech. Potentially a game of two undefeated teams. Perhaps the first of two matchups. These teams could absolutely play again in the Big 12 championship game. So you look at Texas Tech. This team's going to be very talented. Again, talent-wise, just roster-wise, I think this is the most talented roster in the Big 12. How does it all come together? That'll be, the question here. I think these are two really good defenses. I think this will be a low-scoring game. Really almost a coin flip type game, but Texas Tech is going to have a very good defensive line, and I said that a second ago. If you're going to get after this Arizona State offense, you can do it by winning up front. I don't know if Arizona State's offensive line will be up for this challenge. I think Texas Tech's defense makes enough plays. They get in the backfield. They win this game on the road. So a tough loss here for Arizona State at home. But I think Texas Tech, just matchup-wise, I think they get the win here. So Texas Tech wins that one. Then you've got Houston on October 25th. Going to be an improved Houston team. I think they'll be pretty good this year. Might be one of the more improved teams in all of college football. And because of that, I think this is a close game. Connor Wegman, a guy that I think is overlooked a little bit. I think he's a very solid quarterback, and I think he'll play well in this Houston offense. So I do think it's close, but Arizona State still is the better team, and they're playing at home, so not really any reason to pick Houston here. So I'm going Arizona State. They bounce back. They get a win over Houston. Then they have Iowa State on the road November 1st. This will be a tough test on the road. Might be the toughest road game maybe of the season for Arizona State. So I think this is a low-scoring game. Two pretty good defenses. I do think that Iowa State's pass defense may have some weaknesses, and I think you get a guy like Jordan Tyson going up against a secondary that's maybe not quite as not an elite secondary. I think he can maybe make some plays there, or maybe they have to double or triple team him and some other guys come free. So I think that's going to be what gets it done here. I think Arizona State will make some plays through the air. They have enough on defense to keep this game, lower scoring, and I think they're able to get the win here on the road. So huge win there before their second bye week. They play West Virginia after that on November 15th. Should be a pretty good game. West Virginia, though, I don't think is going to be all that great. I think Arizona State's defense can take away that run game for West Virginia, and it'll be too much. Arizona State too much here. I think they win at home against the Mountaineers, so that gets them to 9-1. Then they play Colorado on the road November 22nd, a team that I think is being underrated a little bit. I think because you see Travis Hunter gone, you see Shedeur Sanders gone, and you think, Colorado, they're not going to be very good this year. I think people could be mistaken if they believe that, because you look at this team overall, like the overall roster, I think this team might even be a little bit better than what they were last year. Again, like let's put those guys back on this team this year. I think it's a better team than last year. That's what I'm saying. So I think the defense is actually going to be really strong, especially on the defensive line. This is going to be one of the better defensive lines in the Big 12. I think they're going to be good on the other side too. Offensive line should be strong. Caden Salter coming in at quarterback. He's played in big games. I think he'll do pretty well in this offense, and they've got some good receivers. So I think this Colorado team absolutely could cause some problems here. And like I said, that defensive line is going to be really good, and that could be the difference. Playing on the road, Colorado, I think, will get a big upset this year, and I think this is that game. Arizona State falls, and they drop to 9-2. But they close things out with Arizona, rivalry game on a Friday. Arizona, I don't think, is going to be able to keep up here. Arizona State too much, and they get the win to get to 10-2. Again, the way this schedule sets up with Mississippi State on the road, Baylor on the road, Utah and Iowa State on the road, Colorado on the road, and then that tough game against Texas Tech, I don't know if Arizona State can do better than 10-2. I think if you don't watch out, it could be a 9-3 season for them. Even though, again, I think they are the team to beat. I just think this schedule is a little bit too tricky for them. So I'm going to put them at 10-2. We'll see if that's enough to get to the Big 12 championship. Again, when we do all the other predictions, we will give you those standings, and I'll give you my prediction for the Big 12 championship. But 10-2, definitely in the playoff conversation, definitely in the Big 12 championship conversation. What do you guys think about Arizona State? Give me your thoughts on this team down in the comments below.